Let's begin with a very recent card, most recent, from Darkwing Blast, the Mereologic Aggregator. I hate to spell this name, to pronounce this name. The I don't know, the Aggregator, you know? I don't know if you've already read through that, but it's also very nice. So basically, if this card gets summoned as XC summon, you can send one monster from your extra deck to the grave. Then you can target monsters in your grave up to the materials these cards have, and you can exchange these materials with the cards in the graveyard. So, for example, you have in the graveyard, for example, now, okay, you have in the graveyard Exploder Dragon and Kaiser Seahorse, and attached to material to the aggregator is, that doesn't make sense now, but are these two, Androsphinx and Black Dragon. These are attached to the aggregator, and then you activate its effect. So you can detach these two. First you target the monsters in your graveyard you want to attach to it, and then you say these two you want to detach. You detach these two to the grave, and you can attach the one you targeted in your grave to it as material. So this can lead to very nice combo plays and to recycle your cards and get them in the grave if you don't want them to be attached to Xyz monster. Let's continue. Yeah, that's that. And if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target one card on the field and negate its effect until the end of the turn. And you can use every effect of the aggregator once per turn. So you may think now, well, that sounds nice. Yeah, very nice. But what should I do with that? Well, let me show you. The key card to that is this. Maybe you don't know now what's happening. Because, as I said, if he gets summoned, you can send one extra deck monster from your extra deck to the grave. That's in this. So, you send that and destroy anything. Then you activate its second effect. You target in this and swap it with any material, attach it again to it as a material. So then you have two options. Either you wait a turn until next turn, activate its effect again, swap monsters, and this activates again, can destroy again, and then, you know, always exchanging these with the monsters in the grave and the material. So you have an infinite loop with Intis to destroy anything. Or if you want to activate Intis again in the same turn, so first you send it, alright, then you attach it again. Then, because he's Dark rank 9, you can rank up, no, sorry, not that, that's not possible, to number 84, the Pain Gainer. And Pain Gainer has a similar effect. You can detach a material and destroy all monsters which has lower or equal depth than he has. And you can detach Untis and pop again another card, you know. And then, of course, with number 84, you can rank up on number 77. And number 77 has then the aggregator as a material. So if you detach the material, the aggregator as material, its effects still counts, you know. You can then target a card on the field and negate its effects until the end turn. So very versatile. Works, in my opinion, best with the old entity Intis. Try it out. Mereologic Aggregator. I hate this name. That's I don't know. My German tongue cannot pronounce it. Let's go on. With the Chumuha Kusanagi, the Lord of the Swords. You can tribute summon that if you just tributing one normal summoned monsters, just like that. If you do that, your opponent can send cards from his hand or field to the grave, and then everyone draws the same number of cards that were sent to the graveyard. But the more important thing is, and the more broken thing is, during the end phase, if this effect was activated to draw cards, you can shuffle back all cards from the field, from the grave, and of the banished cards into the deck. Yes. And that's why I said that's probably familiar for the veteran players. Do you remember Fiberjaw? Yes, Fiberjaw did exactly the same. So in combination with the right cards and the right deck, this is just broken. Yeah. Nothing more to say about it. Next one is probably a favorite for hero players, but I never see actually a hero player playing it. I don't know why. The elemental hero Neos Kluger. It's easily summable via Neos Fusion. It needs elemental hero Neos Endurable. Must be fusion summoned before damage calculation, before damage calculation. If this card battles an opponent's monster, you can inflict damage to your opponent equal to that opponent's monster's ATK. Okay, see? Before damage calculation, so you can suicide into a 10,000 ATK monsters and you kill your opponent. Not by destroying it, just through effect damage. If this face-up card is destroyed by battle, which then is, it goes on, or leaves the field because of an opponent's card effect while its owner controls it, so anyway it leaves the field, you can special summon one Neos Wiseman from your hand or deck, ignoring its summoning conditions, and you can only lose each effect once per turn. Neos Wiseman has a similar effect, so Neos Kluger very underrated, but this can easily win you the game in one turn if used correctly. So a card that's talked about also not too often. I don't know the English translation, I'm very sorry. Meerjungfrauenkostüm Marsschneider. So what is that? I'm always a little bit can't believe it that doesn't see play. This is very good card, very good card. You can target one card in your opponent's graveyard, banish it. Then you can add to your hand one card with the same name as the banished card from your deck to your hand. So this is a searcher basically for any hand trap if needed. So if impermanence is your opponent's grave, you banish impermanence, can add impermanence from your deck to your hand. If Nibiru is in your opponent's grave, you banish Nibiru, you can add Nibiru from your deck to your hand. If Ash Blossom is in your grave, and so on and so on. If any other card, for example, you need Foolish Burial or whatever, Monster Reborn, something like that, this is an awesome searcher card. Definitely give that a shot. A card that's talked about much lately, but doesn't see a lot of play lately, and I don't know why. I guess people didn't really realize how good this card is. The Time Tearing Morganite. You are probably familiar with that, but as I said, I don't see it very often, so I had to point that out. For the rest of the duel, you just have to activate it. It's not a permanent spell. You activate it, and the effect counts for the rest of the duel. You cannot activate monster effects in your hand. Okay, that sounds a little bit of devastating, but you can draw every turn in your draw phase 2 cards instead of 1, and you can conduct up to 2 normal summons per turn. Yes. This works obviously best for decks that don't rely on monster effects in the hand. So a friend of mine, you probably know him, SiCaTra, plays that in an Ancient Gear deck, and works of course very well in an Ancient Gear deck. And I believe this also works best in any kind of fun deck or rogue deck that lacks support or lacks the speed to hold up with a meta deck or with a more speed-like deck, Very good card. Not very expensive at the moment. I think it's only at €1.50 or €2, something like that. So get it as long as you can. If the right format comes, if the right deck appears, this card is gonna be absolutely broken. We go on. A little bit of a meme card. Nudelwendetechnik. Yeah, still, I'm very sorry, I don't know the English name. But we know that, and this allows you can add the bottom card of your deck to your hand. And if you do that, you can take one card from your deck, shuffle your deck, and then you can take the card under your deck. Alright, so first you add the bottom card of your deck to your hand, then you can take any card and put it back on the bottom of your deck. So that's may think, well, that's very random. What is the use if I get the bottom card of my deck? Well, here's the thing. That thing is not once per turn. So you have set up 3 of those. You can search 2 cards you want, and you get what you want. The first activation, of course, doesn't do anything, but you can add the card you want then at the bottom of the deck, and then you activate it again and again. So you can add 2 key cards of your deck to your hand, just like that. Of course, you need a little bit of time to set up these 3. Okay, of course. So a little bit of a gimmick card, but in my eyes, not too bad. Not too bad for a common. I'm sorry. So another monster we added so much spells now is YuGiOh, the founder of the Grudge Dragons, I guess, or the Working Dragons, I don't know. Also insane. First of all, it looks insane. It is insane. It's such a cool artwork. And its effect is also... I don't know what to say. All monsters you control gain 100 ATK and defense for every card in your opponent's graveyard. Yes. And you can target 1 card in your opponent's graveyard and then detach 1 or 2 materials from this card and then activate one of those effects. If you detached 1 material, you can target the card at the bottom of your... you can send or put back the card at the bottom of your deck, of your opponent's deck. And if you have detached 2 materials and the targeted card was a monster, you can special summon this monster to your side of the field, and that's all a quick effect. So even in the battle phase, if somehow your opponent has anything to stop you, you thought you can go for game, but somehow he stopped you, you can activate its quick effect, detach 2 materials, target 1 monster in his graveyard, summon it, and attack again. Yes. So very powerful card, level 6, rank 6, I'm sorry. Rank 6, so very accessible through all the bestial cards, if you play bestials in your deck, they are all level 6. And the last card, Trap again, is the summoning whatever summonite. Yeah, what is that? What the hell is that? Let me explain it really quick. Basically, you target 3 monsters in your graveyard, and then your opponent decides if you summon 1 of those targeted monsters or the other 2. Okay, so for example, let me show you 3 monsters: the Exploder, this, and Endosphinx. Endosphinx. So you target these 3, and then you say to your opponent, either you want to summon Kaiser Seahorse or Exploder Dragon and Androsphinx, and your opponent has to choose. Okay, your opponent can say, okay, no, I don't like if you summon Exploder Dragon and Androsphinx, you just summon Kaiser Seahorse, or he says he doesn't like that you summon Kaiser Seahorse, then you can summon Exploder Dragon and Androsphinx. If you have the right monster setup in your graveyard, this can end in a win-win situation. You cannot lose if you have the right monster targets in your grave. Also very nice. Works again in any deck, as most of the cards works almost in every deck. Basically, yes, they are very compatible with any deck. Try this out also. And again, I hope you enjoyed it at least a little bit. I did, certainly. I hope it helped you a bit, and I was able to give you a bit of more insight what cards are actually out there that are good but are not expensive. Anyway, let me know what you think about it and what I could do better in the comment section down below. I highly appreciate that. And my usual words, thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.